Hi, I'm Charlotte Cook. I'm a child and adolescent psychoanalytic psychotherapist, and I work with children, teens, and parents every day. I'd like to talk about something today that so many parents are struggling with right now, and this is getting our kids into school, or what we might have heard it called is emotionally based school avoidance, or EBSA. If your child is saying things like, I can't go, they might be having meltdowns, feeling physically unwell, sick, headaches, or completely shutting down around school, then this video is really for you. So what is EBSA? So EBSA is when a child or young person is unable to attend school due to emotional distress. And really the word enable is the important word. This isn't about a child choosing not to go. This is about a child whose internal world feels or can feel so overwhelming that school can feel unsafe. So for some children, that might look like panic attacks in the morning. It might look like stomach aches, headaches, or feeling sick, tears, anger even, or shutting down. They could be fine at home but unable to leave, or even managing to get to school but not coping whilst they are there. What's happening underneath this is anxiety, but it's not just surface level and it's not just worry. It is often much deeper than that. And it might be things like fear of failure, separation, school anxiety, social anxiety, feeling misunderstood or unsafe, or a buildup of overwhelm over time. So from a psychological perspective, their nervous system is saying, this is not safe. So even if we as adults know that school should be safe, for a child, it can feel the opposite. So what EBSA is not. So let's clear something up, because this is where a lot of parents can feel completely judged and get overwhelmed ourselves. EBSA is not laziness, defiance, or bad parenting. A child can be accused of playing the system or simply a behavioural problem. And I really want you to hear this. Your child is not giving you a hard time. Your child is having a hard time. This really needs to be understood. And when we misunderstand EBSA as behaviour, we can respond with things like pressure, consequences, you have to go, or trying to push them through it. And while that comes from a place of care and fear, of course, it often increases the anxiety rather than reduces it. So why does it escalate in the first place? Well, one of the most confusing things for parents is just how quickly this can spiral. So your child might have been happily going to school, and then suddenly, maybe it feels like overnight, they just can't. And what happens then is this anxiety is building quietly over time. The child might be pushing through until they actually can't anymore, and then the avoidance begins. And once the avoidance starts, it actually reduces the anxiety in the short term, which the child thinks this is great. But it really teaches the brain that avoiding school makes me feel safer. And what happens then is it strengthens the cycle. So that's why EBSA can escalate so quickly. So what is it that we as parents can do to help? What actually helps as opposed to sticks a sticking plaster over it? And I'd like to give you a different way of thinking about this. So instead of thinking about fixing, we want to understand. And before we try to get them back into school, we need to understand, what does school feel like for our child? Not from our perspective, but from our child's. What is it that they're holding inside? And this is about curiosity, not correction or fixing. We need to build emotional safety first. And if a child doesn't feel emotionally safe, then accessing learning is just not going to happen. So the priority becomes feeling understood, supported, and also that someone's alongside them, or a little group of people. This might sound like, I can see how hard this feels for you. Something about school doesn't feel okay right now. So we can use these sentences, but we need to regulate before we start to place expectations, because a dysregulated child can't meet demands. Their thinking brain is asleep. So instead of you need to go to school, we might think, what does my child need to feel calmer, safer, and actually more able? That might be that we need to feel calmer, safer, and more able. We can work with the school rather than against your child, which is super important. And this might look like reduced timetables, safe spaces in school, gradual reintegration, and a trusted adult, or three. This isn't giving in, this is meeting your child where they are at, which in this moment is what they need to build resilience. So long term, not quick fixes, okay? I know that the pressure is huge. We have attendance fines, judgment from others, including our family, but forcing a child back too quickly can actually increase their traumatic responses, deepen the level of avoidance, and really damage trust. And the goal isn't just getting them in the building, the goal is helping them to feel able to be there. So, if you are dealing with EBSA right now, then I want you to hear this because it's super important. You are not failing your child, and your child is not broken. But this is something that can absolutely shift and get better. It just requires a different approach. We were taught to manage behaviour, but we need to get inside the child's house instead. If this has resonated with you and it has helped in some way, then I support parents with exactly this inside my Parenting Insight Pod every day, where we look at really what's going on underneath behaviours like EBSA and how to respond in a way that actually helps your child feel safer and more able, but it helps you too. You need the support to be able to manage this. It's exhausting. So I will leave the details below, and if you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with another parent who might need to hear this today. Okay, I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you soon. Take care.